Hey fiber friends, it's been a while. I hope your lockdown beards are behaving. I'm making this video because tomorrow is the kickoff of the week-long spinning competition called Spin Together. I have done a little bit of spinning, so I'm not 100% green, but I've got a lot to learn still. So I thought I would show some of the things I'm doing to prepare for tomorrow. I have had time, I'm just very bad at planning. So anyway, back then I was doing a lot of Instagram. I haven't done it for quite a while, but there was a woman on there, Liesel from Buckaloo View Farms. I think she might have seen that I was spinning spider web stuff from the party store. So she had just bought an Ashford Kiwi 2, I think it was. She was thinking about bringing sheep onto her farm. So she was trying different breeds, and she at the time had Merino and Shetland, and it was just white wool, both of them, and she was spinning a lot to get better at spinning and also to figure out what she liked. But of course spinning white wool for hours and hours and hours gets tedious, and so she was kind of done with it and had leftovers, and she graciously sent them to me. So she sent me this, and this is, we're talking like almost 2 years ago maybe, but there was a nice little letter which I won't show you, but it was just here's some leftover fiber, previous spins I did, and she left the label so I'd know what it was. Nice pretty paper there. She also included a little sachet that she made that has lavender in it and smells really good. And then the lace here she dyed with walnut hulls. I haven't seen her on Instagram in a while, so she might be taking a little break, which I think we're all understanding of right now. I have so many friends who are taking breaks from the internet because they've had enough. Anyway, what she sent me was fine white Shetland. I'll see if you can see it there. And this was, and that was from Louet in North America. And this is from the Woolery. This is Merino Top Superfine. And this was 8 ounces. I think it's around 25, 35 grams now. Actually, I think this one was 50. The Shetland, I think, is more in the 50s, and this is somewhere in the 30s. But just wonderful. It was wonderful to gift this to me. She wouldn't accept payment or even shipping money. So I thanked her, of course, way back when, but I've never publicly said thank you, Liesel, for sending me that. The intention was that I would learn to spin this on my drop spindle, but my interest has shifted a lot to spinning wheels. And so I would like to use that to learn on my spinning wheel. Now I have spun a little bit, but I'm so bad. So I thought I would use these at the beginning of the competition to get me going, to warm me up. For all I know, that could take me the whole week spinning those. I don't think so. I think I'll be okay. Now, I want to move on from that, again, thank you, Liesel, to spinning wheels. Now, spinning wheels are very expensive. They are anywhere from $500 to thousands of dollars. So I didn't see myself getting a wheel anytime soon, not in the budget. Especially if it's for something I want to try, because I want to try everything. And just buying all this equipment for everything I want to try would cost $1 million. There's a Facebook Marketplace local buy-sell group, there's 2 of them, that I follow on Facebook. One day, a spinning wheel appeared, and it was an Ashford Kiwi 2, and I knew that brand just from all my research. That was a top-level brand and one of their popular models. It was a really great wheel to find. She said she'd used it 3 times and decided spinning wasn't really her thing, and she wanted to sell it. I think it was going for like 500 and something. I think the Ashford Kiwi 3 had just come out, but the 2, of course, was still very popular, and she wanted to sell it. It was like in the 300s, and I was like, it's just a little too much. But you know what? If it drops down to $285, I'll buy it. And I think it was a day or 2 later, she dropped it down to $285. And I went, all right, I guess I got to buy this wheel. So I jumped on it, and wrote to her. She's right here in my town. And I bought an Ashford Kiwi 2. We met in a parking lot like a drug deal. So, this is my Ashford Kiwi 2. It has a little routed imprint, or a little, I don't know if that's laser etched or what, but there's a little cut image of a kiwi on the foot pedal. She used it, 3 times, so it's like brand new. The only thing that is not like brand new is that she decided to customize it by painting the pedals and the wheel, because this was all the same color of wood. She painted those buttercup yellow, which I don't think it would have been my choice, but beggars can't be choosers. It was half price, I think, 60%. And it came with the flyer. It came with 3 bobbins. It has a place to store 2 of them, and then of course one of them goes on the flyer, and you can have all of them. Fairly lightweight to carry, and it was in great condition. I didn't really know what I was looking at back then, but I have since realized that it's in great condition. Now, this is new. The squeaking, it was not doing that before the lockdown started. So I use this, I've used this a couple of times. Now, along with the wheel, she gave me 4 bags of fiber. So one of them is this pure white fiber. It's pretty soft. Does not smell like sheep. This is combed top. And I don't know what it is. But it's white and it's soft. It might be what I spin after the stuff from Liesel. She also is a yarn dyer, and that was actually the thing. She wasn't sure if she wanted to do spinning or dyeing more than the other, and she fell down on the side of dyeing and did not like spinning anywhere near as much. So she got rid of the wheel, and my luck. But this is one of her colors. I don't know if it's a color that she continues to sell or if it was a test or who knows what. I also don't know what that is, fiber-wise. She also has this. Lots of yellow and pink and a little bit of undyed white area. I kind of like that one. It's like a pink lemonade. And then she had this one. So I think she might have dyed it and then braided it back up. I don't think they're dyed in the braid. So I think this is my favorite, these blues and greens. So it's later in the day. I remembered something. It wasn't 4 bags, it was 6. There were actually 3 bags like this of red, white, and blue. And that was what I did before October of last year. I made this absolute mess. This was my first real attempt to use the wheel. This preceded Rhinebeck West when I made this stuff in that little competition. And this is a way overspun, way overplied yarn, and I did not get the energy balanced. So you can see, if I put my hands in here, I can stretch this out to a straight hank. And it's actually quite pretty. But when I let go, everything coils right back up and it plies back on itself. But it has really tiny sections that are really, that's kind of what I'm going for, is like sport weight yarn, really thin stuff. But then it'll have these areas where I did not know what was happening. I just started messing up, and it goes thicker and then thin, and then it goes to this actually really beautiful spiral yarn, where one of the plies is really thin and it goes around a very underspun thicker section from the other yarn. And that happens back and forth. There's blue around red and red around blue. I don't know. I mean, it kind of works. So I showed this online and said, this is my first spin. It's awful. And I had a lot of people who might have just been being supportive. I'm not sure. But they said, you're going to wish you could spin yarn like that later when you get good and you forget how to make yarn like this. And I think they meant it'll be hard for me to make inconsistent yarn. Like my hands will just want to keep making it consistent. They also said the overply is not bad. And they suggested washing it and, drying it stretched out a little bit. Someone suggested hanging it on a door and putting like a big can, like one of those jumbo cans of soup, hanging in it so it would stretch it out. Other people said try that and try steaming it and watch it, drop. So I have not done that, and this has been sitting in a box, and it just still has all that energy in it. It's not a very cozy wool. It's a little bit scratchy. But that explains where this white one came from. I forgot there was a red, white, and blue, and then 3 colors, 3 of her dyes. In terms of bobbins, I have an empty one that's on the flyer, and I also have this one that has some, I don't even remember, which is rare for me. I usually remember what I'm doing. That needs to come off for tomorrow. I also have this, which is cotton, and I'm going to do a different video about that at some point because that was an interesting exploration. That all needs to come off. And I also have this, which is from Rhinebeck West. So we here on the West Coast can't easily get over to Rhinebeck. So a local yarn shop here, the Knitting Tree LA, has started, I think as of maybe 2 years ago, or maybe just last year, Rhinebeck West, which is during Rhinebeck. They hold their own little mini festival at the store, and they have dyers come in and give like an open class to anybody wandering by who wants to see things. They have, we had a spinning contest, and that's where I'm heading here, is to the story about the spinning contest, because this is from that spinning contest so long ago. I have not gotten back to this. The idea was, I can't remember what they called it. It was something like wool to washcloth, but the idea was that you start with raw wool, and they provided it, so everybody got the same orange wool. And it was a roving. It was, I think, a combed top or a roving, and I don't know what kind of wool. I think it's just wool. It was, everybody got orange. It was all the same thing. It was like a big bag of the same fiber, and you had to spin enough to then knit a washcloth. So what they wanted was teams where they would have a spinner and a knitter, and I follow them on Instagram, so I knew it was coming up. So I called the store, and again, a little trepidatious. I thought, I'm not very good. I could knit, but I'm not really interested in that. I really want to learn spinning right now. So I talked to the lady who owns the place, who knows me because I've been there before, and I said, you know, I'm not sure, and she went, I don't even worry about it. It's not critical. Just, you know, you're good enough. Bring your wheel, and we need spinners. So I joined, and I was paired up with a lady who was going to be the knitter. Then the point was to knit a washcloth, and this was as much as we got washcloth wise. It's just garter stitch. It's a little all over the place because my yarn is a little all over the place. It's a little bit thick and thin. We also had this little bit here. It's pretty tight stuff, and it's a single. We didn't do any plying. So that's another one. I have to take all that off of there. What else do I have to do? Well, recently, actually a few months ago, a friend of mine was on her Facebook Marketplace down where she lives. She's 45 minutes to an hour south of me here in California, Los Angeles area. And she wrote to me one night and said, hey, this guy's on Facebook Marketplace is selling a spinning wheel. Now, of course, I have a spinning wheel. I have my Kiwi 2. But I said, sure, let me see. So she sent me the link, and I went, I recognize that. That's like one, I've seen that many times before. That's a quality wheel. I think it's a Traveler. So I looked up Ashford Traveler, and sure enough, that's what it was. And here's the thing. He was selling it for $60. And I said, $60 would be worth it just for the parts that are remaining, because these things are $600. That's like 1/10 the price. You know, if it doesn't work, so what? It's $60. I should just jump on this anyway. So I said, you know what? I'm bored. I'm sitting around the house. I'm not doing anything. I haven't bought anything in a little while. I need something fun. I need to sink my teeth into some new project. I said, tell you what, because she offered. I said, go ahead and buy it, and I'll buy it back. I'll buy it from you. So she did that, and it's funny because she's very frugal, and she got him down to $50. I was like, you don't have to get him down. $60 is already so low for this thing. So, without further ado, hello. So this is what I would like to use for the spinning competition. So again, I bought this from a photo that I saw, and I knew it was missing its flyer, but the flyer, this whole assembly in here, on Ashford's website was only $60. So I thought, okay, I can get this whole wheel for $60 and just get a flyer for it for $60. And the thing that I was really worried about is when I get it, is this gonna all be trashed, this treadle mechanism down here? and is the wheel going to spin well? And I got it home, drove 45 minutes south. My friend actually packed her car, brought it to her parents' house, and I picked it up there, so it wasn't as big a drive for me then. And also, something for a future video is the same woman had a sizable yarn stash, and he offered to sell that for $100, and I also bought that. So that's going to be a future video because it was a bonanza. It was an absolute score, which I got so much more than what I paid for. So that'll be a future video. I filmed, it's like 80 clips that I have to edit together. But anyway, let's get back to this. This was what I was worried about. I got home and I said, I hope it spins well. And then I tried it, and I was hoping the wheel wouldn't be wobbling all over the place and pieces falling apart, but it actually works really well. And something I'm noticing with this wheel too, that I noticed with my Kiwi, is that in the past, in the time that I've been in this lockdown, it's gotten more, I don't know, clunky. I think because we had fires and it was a little bit smoky, I think maybe some grit got into the pivoting parts. Because when I first got it, I could step on this, give it a pretty hard step, and it would spin for like a full minute. It was really, really good. And I couldn't believe how good it was for $60. I mean, this is a perfect traveler. It's missing one part that costs $60. But and you might be able to hear it. It's making a little bit of noise. However, when I first got my Kiwi, the thing that I realized was, it came with 3 bobbins, but I really wanted to do 3-ply yarns, which means you need a 4th bobbin because you need to do singles on 3 of them, and then you need to have a 4th one to ply them off onto. So I ordered one, and I also ordered, because I didn't know what I was doing, I snapped the brake band because I over-tensioned things. I had it all set up wrong, and I actually burned through. I could hear it squeaking away as I was trying, and I was like, this is so hard to treadle. I'm talking about the Kiwi 2 here. Yeah, and I ended up sawing through that brake band, so I ordered a new brake band. And in the process, I thought, you know what, let me get some wheel oil too. Even though this thing spins really great, I don't think it needs it. I have a full bottle of Ashford Wheels and Looms spinning wheel oil here. 15 milliliters, half ounce. So I thought what I would do today is get this thing cleaned up and ready for tomorrow. The brake band, the drive band is old, a little crusty, it's dirty, but it's strong. It works. So, speaking of, it doesn't come with a flyer, but I realized after I got it home, and this is months ago now, but I realized that the flyer off of the Ashford Kiwi actually fits. So this goes in there, and then the other side sits in here and clips in place. And I have actually hooked up the drive band and tried it out, and it works. So really this thing just needs a little love. It needs to be dusted and waxed. It needs to be adjusted. I need to flip this up and clean under there. I need to tighten up the maidens because those are kind of loose. I think they need to be a little bit tighter. I don't know that for sure because I'm not sure if you're supposed to be able to spin them when you remove this. I don't know. Because it's hard to get that out of there without spinning it. Anyway. There is an online timeline with a bunch of pictures of travelers through the years, and they show you, or they have a little writing on each one that shows you what's different as each new model comes in. One of the obvious things is the design of these spindles. It's different. There's some that are just a straight bar or tapered bar that has no design work, it's just straight. There are some with more or fewer of these beads and coves. There's also a change down here in this connector. They call this the conrod, and this is the treadle assembly down here. This on mine is a piece of leather. I don't know if it's real leather or synthetic leather, but it's just there's a screw right through the leather, And that acts, see, it's floppy in the up direction, but under tension, if we spin this, it works as the connector. And that is not what they use anymore. They use a synthetic plastic rod that connects the two. And there are a handful of other changes, things that are a little bit different between the models. But using that, I was able to say, I have this style of spindle, I have this leather bit here, and I was able to hone in on, I think, this being from the year 1983, an 82 or 83. So let's get to cleaning this up. Look at this dirt. Cobweb. That might be like little spots of mold even. Yeah, this is very dusty. Oh, it looks like it's baked in now. There's the very faded Ashford logo. Again, there's dirt all around it. You can really see the dirt from this angle. Yeah, dust all over the place. The wheel is dusty too. You can see dust on the posts. So the whole thing's covered in a layer of dust and dirt. A little bit of grime, maybe a little bit of mold. Yep, just grime just from the foot pedal. It's just this. It's amazing. I'd like to go find a proper rag, something I can wash and wring out. Wow, much better. Wow, that actually cleaned up more than the rag, more than the paper towel cleaned off. Huh. Yeah, this thing's shining up. Oh, it's actually like a metal peg. Yeah. I don't know why I thought it was a wooden dowel. Yeah, there's no competition between this and the paper towel. I'm going to take the pieces off of the maiden, or off the mother of all here. And it hinges up, and then this little knob here moves this little threaded thing out onto that little strike plate, and that's what determines the angle, and that determines the tension on the drive wheel, because as this tilts away, the wheel that's on here tilts away from this wheel, and you can change the tension. Okay, first things first, let's take off the maidens. All right, we got there eventually. Oh, look at that. There's actually a dowel that fits in. This one I'll have to flip it up. This one's very loose. The wheel itself is sort of in the way. Go a little faster if I spin the maiden too. Anyway, done that one pretty fast. Brake tensioner. Alright, that's out. Take this knob out. Am I doing this right? Yeah. It's faster if you spin the smaller radius. And take this little hook out. Okay. And then I think I want to take these out as well. Okay, with those screws removed, the whole mother of all comes right off, and you're just left with this. So now I can really get into there. Clean off this end grain. Okay, I cleaned up this whole rail, all four sides, all around it. Cleaned up this entire leg, including lifting it up and getting under, and even wrapping the rag around, like opening this a little bit to get more of that metal dowel, metal rod, and wrapping it around and doing like the shoe shine trick where you pull on each side of the cloth. Now I've just noticed these, and I figure they're going to be loose. Yep. So that's pretty good there. Yep. A little bit loose. This will just make the whole thing feel tighter, less rickety. Oh. Yeah. Ugh. I think these were put in and then it was stained. And that was it. I'm noticing that these heads were all flat. And these are fairly flat to the ground. It's probably a stylistic thing, but I want it to be tight, so. All right. Yeah, I can feel the rigidity now just trying to move this around. It's not moving anywhere. Let me show this video to my mom. She's gonna faint. She's gonna say, 40 plus years, you've never cleaned anything. Now all of a sudden, you've got a spinning competition, and you're just cleaning this thing like crazy. Alright, now, let's clean the maidens. I'm going to take this screw out of the bottom. And give this a nice cleaning. Let's zoom out a little bit. Nothing in the way. We clean the whole thing. Okay, got this bearing. Not. I think they're supposed to be tight, but I also am not sure how you get the flyer out of there when it's really tight. It seemed like you needed to be able to pivot one of the maidens in order to get it out of there. Much better. Put these back on, and I left them loose so that I can move this a little bit. And that is because when this mother of all has the whirl back installed, the grooves here need to line up with the grooves on that wheel. So I'll need to get this whole thing installed properly and then sight down the wheel where I want to move this thing. All right, let's turn this guy around. Alright, here's the underside. And it's gross. Cobwebs and things. A little bit of that mold spotting under here too. Oh. Let's take our flyer. This is the standard Ashford flyer, which is why it fits both my Ashford Kiwi 2 and, from what I can tell, this new Ashford Traditional, this new old Ashford Traditional that we just cleaned. So it won't match in color. There's the whirl. Alright, let's get this thing put in place. I've installed the drive band, and I've slid this over. And now they're sort of sighting along this wheel to get the whirl where I want it. There she is. Look at how nice this wood came out. There's a little bit of some scuffs on the end there. But look at that. Look at how pretty. I used some Pledge. There's like a squirt left in that can. But, you know, it was enough to... Look at the spindles all shining away. It's beautiful. Now I'm going to be honest with you. Something I did has made it more creaky. So if I get this thing spinning... But yeah, even the flyer works. There's something a little off. It feels like this shaft that goes all the way to the other end is a little short. Like I have to bend these slightly in order for it to work out. But I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna spin it. I always have the other, the Kiwi over there if I need it. But I really want to give this thing a fair shake and see what I can do. It feels like the creaking is coming from these joints, but I have pulled them out quite a bit and squirted a lot of that Ashford oil in there, that stuff, and it's not going away. So I'll just have to do my spinning on a pirate, on a creaky old pirate vessel. But yeah, I'm happy. I got this where I wanted it to be.